Well, you know what?
He doesn't mentor.
I've actually thought about doing snowmobiling full time as a profession.
You know, you ever seen that MasterCard commercial on TV where the Asian guy gets blown off his snowmobile and his kids are standing next to him in the hospital and they're saying, "Hey, you've had 500,000 hits or some shit." I've stopped that commercial because it's only like about a quarter of a second where you actually see the actual snowmobile accident. And it's just exactly what probably happened to John that one year when he went through the front of the sled. Because the guy he kind of noses his machine at a pretty high rate of speed into like a snowdrift, and he gets thrown over the machine kind of and off to the side.
Those are fun to watch.
Oh yeah. Well, Fuzznuts did that one time, and but nobody saw it. You've heard the story, right?
No.
Where he went. There was a series of like 4-foot whoops. Fred was first, and on these whoops you need to have a little bit of a feather hand. You have to give it enough gas to get over the whoop, but not enough where you get stuck. Okay? There's some technique involved. And the technique is you give it a little gas at the bottom of the whoop, and then you back off at the top. You can't see over these whoops, by the way. They're 4 feet tall.
Gotcha.
And they're kind of gentle, and they're kind of regular because they're drifts. So Fred's first, he's John's second, I'm third, and a guy named Private Blackie is fourth. And Fred usually is ahead of us by a half a mile. So Johnny, I come around the corner, we're going through like a dozen of these whoops, and there's Johnny's machine sitting in the middle of the trail with nobody on it, and it's running. To make it even more bizarre, there's not a tree in sight. It's perfectly flat out here, right? This machine's sitting in the middle of the trail, he's completely gone, and there's no place where he's going to go.
There's no tracks.
There's no tracks. So we pull up behind him, and I'm like,
no divots or anything
nothing,
like that?
nothing. So like, I'm a little mystified. All these thoughts are going through your head, So I turn to my buddy behind me, I say, shut the machine.
You look under it?
No, wait a minute. Shut the machine off, So he shuts his machine off, and I shut my machine off, and I'm looking, all of a sudden I see an arm and a leg underneath the machine.
What?
Underneath the machine. I see an arm and a leg move, and I'm going, oh my fucking God. So I get off, because we're in the middle of nowhere here. We're 5 miles going back to, we'd have to do a trouble way to get him out of there if he'd hurt himself bad. So I get off my machine, I walk over, and I said, okay, I'm going to get this thing off the top here. They weigh 500 pounds. So, Brian Blackie and I, we pulled the machine off him, and he was, hours later. Well, we pretty quickly ascertained that he wasn't seriously hurt. But what he had done was, he had hit the whoop too hard, buried the front of the machine in the front of the whoop, into the whoop, went through the windshield, over the top of the machine, and then the machine kept on going on its own, and went over the top and settled right on top of it. Because the windshield was flopping like this. Like they're made to break away, right? So